Welcome back to Life's Challenge. My name is Avital, and this week's Parshat is Parshat Vayikra. And Parshat Vayikra is a really cool Parsha because it goes through many of the offerings that the Jewish people would bring to the Mishkan, to the Kohanim, to be offered to God. And offerings would be brought for many reasons. Offerings would be brought but when somebody had sinned, when somebody just wanted to get close to God, when somebody was grateful to God. There were many reasons why an offering would be brought. And this week's Parsha sort of goes through in depth the different types of offering, why they might be brought, the amounts that of sort of the animal that would be brought with each offering, if there was spices, how it was going to be prepared, where it was going to be offered. It goes through all of this in great detail. And when I was looking at all these different types of offerings, the sort of overarching theme that I sort of drew from these different types of offering, when I was trying to think of what brings them all together, what is the sort of common factor, what I came up with was that they all helped the Jewish people to have greater self-awareness. And I'll explain. So as an example, when you look at the elevation offering was brought when somebody wanted to feel closer to God. That was really it. If somebody was feeling distance, or if somebody was feeling just like they wanted to be closer to God, they'd bring an elevation offering, and that would draw them closer to God. When somebody, we'll see in next week's Parsha, in Parshat Tzav, that when somebody was feeling very grateful, thankful if they survived a life-threatening situation, they'd bring a todah, a thanksgiving offering to God, expressing their gratitude to God. So when they were feeling grateful, they brought an offering. If somebody sinned, they would bring an offering also. If somebody was guilty, same thing. And what is very interesting is when we get to the offering in this week's Parsha for unintentional sins. Let me tell you a little bit about that one. So when we get to the sin offering, the Torah tells us, it says, when a person will sin unintentionally from among all the commandments of Hashem that may not be done, and he commits one of them, and then it proceeds to sort of list the offerings that the person would bring when it would become known to them. So when it would become known to the one who committed the sin, once they became aware of this sin that they committed, they needed to bring an offering. And that really solidified it for me, this idea of self-awareness, because sometimes we are self-aware. Sometimes we are able to recognize, oh, I'm feeling really grateful. Oh, I'm feeling distant. I'm feeling all these different things. And we have that self-awareness. But sometimes it doesn't come to us right away. Sometimes it takes time and the recognition comes later. Like with the unintentional sins, with the sins that we weren't aware that we committed. And then as time passes on, we become aware that, oh, we made a mistake. And the Torah is telling us that the Jewish people would bring an offering retroactively. When they realized that they made a mistake in the past, they would go ahead and bring a sin offering for the actions that they committed. So self-awareness is clearly being encouraged here, even for actions that happened far in the past. And I think that is a really beautiful thing, because the more time we spend with ourselves, the more times we spend looking inward, the more self-awareness we're going to have. And therefore, I really feel like the offerings were encouraging people to have self-awareness and to be looking inwards and to be looking at their own actions and to be reflecting on their behaviors and their feelings and their emotions and to be gaining this greater picture of themselves, something way more in tune with themselves. And I think that's a very important lesson. We don't have offerings anymore. We don't have that. But we could take the time to reflect on our actions, to think not exclusively about ourselves, but to think about ourselves a little bit more and to think about how we impact others, what we're feeling internally, things that we may want to reflect on in the past that we want to improve for the future. And I think that those traits that the offerings instilled in the Jewish people are ones that we really could learn from and benefit from today. And so I wish you all a wonderful week and a Shabbat Shalom, and I look forward to speaking with you next time.